Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're jumping into a really big question, one that's been around forever, basically. Can science actually prove a creator exists? We'll look at the limits of science with physicist Christian Prasura, and then pivot to this fascinating analogy from Kato, who's known for his writing on spiritual awareness. It might change how you see reality itself.
Yeah, it is definitely a deep one. We're not really aiming for a simple yes or no here.
Right.
It's more about exploring the difference between scientific proof and, let's say, existential understanding, getting into those nuances that often get bulldozed over when these big topics collide.
Okay, so Christian Prasura, he really digs into the scientific method. What's the absolute core rule he says we need to stick to, especially when talking about, well, a creator, to avoid making mistakes?
Well, Prasura's point is fundamental. It's not just that science likes numbers. It's that to prove something scientifically, you absolutely need physical quantities, things you can measure, units, numerical values.
So, you can't just say energy, you need to say how many joules.
Exactly. If you can't quantify it, if it doesn't produce signals we can actually measure within our universe, then science, just by its own rules, its own definition, it can't prove it. It's not saying it doesn't exist, just that it's outside its toolkit. Like trying to measure happiness in volts. Wrong tool.
That clicks. So if science is strictly about what's measurable within our reality, is Prasura basically saying that asking science to prove a creator is kind of missing the point of what science even is?
Precisely. He argues that ignoring this core scientific method is just asking for trouble, conceptually.
Yeah.
Especially with claims like science proves God. He really stresses that before even starting that kind of conversation, we need to agree on the language. Respect what science actually does. Otherwise, it's just ships passing in the night.
Okay, science has its boundaries, very clear. But then Kato, this author focused on spiritual awareness, he has something even more basic, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Have we even scientifically proven where life came from?
Yep.
And his answer is, well, it's kind of surprising, right? He points out we only have these unproven hypotheses, often contradicting each other. And just because we can't scientifically prove life's origin doesn't mean life isn't real, or that we even fully agree on how to define it.
Yeah, it highlights the limits even within biology.
And this is where Kato introduces that really mind-bending analogy, the virtual reality game one.
Ah, yes.
What if life is like a VR game, and the creator is the programmer, totally outside the game's space and time? How could the players, us, inside the game, possibly access or, understand that creator?
It's like characters in a novel trying to interview the author.
Exactly. It's a powerful image.
And it connects perfectly, actually, to the limits of science we were just talking about.
Right.
From inside this hypothetical game, you couldn't scientifically demonstrate the creator for, well, a few key reasons.
Okay, like what?
First, your observation domain is limited. Science measures stuff inside the game. The creator is metagame outside the system. They wouldn't necessarily generate measurable signals in the game's variables unless they chose to.
Right. They're not bound by the game's physics unless they interact intentionally.
Exactly. Second, there's the operationalization challenge. That's just a technical term for, well, science needs to do something with a concept. Measure it, define its effects. How do you design an experiment for God? What would you even measure?
What's the unit of divinity? Yeah.
Right. And third, there's the technological level of the players. Us. Our avatars, our bodies, our scientific instruments, they have limits. Finite sensors, limited processing power compared to whatever laws are running the whole game.
So, okay, our inability to detect the creator scientifically doesn't prove there isn't one.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if the whole system, the game, is maybe even designed to obscure its origins. And it's fascinating how this idea is sort of bubbling up in physics, too, with the whole simulation hypothesis discussion based on quantum mechanics. Maybe our game does have roots outside itself.
It certainly makes you wonder.
But if the creator, the programmer, is outside the reach of our in-game science, what's left? How do we connect or understand?
And that's exactly where Kato brings in faith. When science hits that wall, can't prove, can't disprove, faith becomes a relevant pathway. He suggests the real power isn't just with our avatar, our physical self in the game.
Our body.
Our body, yeah. But with the player, our consciousness, perhaps. He sees the avatar as maybe created, monitored even, by some kind of IA, an intelligent agent. But he's clear this IA isn't the ultimate creator, more like a complex system or instrument within the game, working for the programmer.
That's a really interesting distinction. And he gives examples of how we might connect consciously, right?
Yeah.
Like prayer versus meditation.
Yes, exactly. He draws this line, suggesting prayer is more like actively addressing divinity, talking to it, while meditation is more about tuning in, accessing what that divinity might be transmitting to us. It's a subtle shift in focus for connection.
Mm,
So this whole exploration, this deep dive, it really lays bare that, complex relationship between what science can measure rigorously and what maybe requires a different lens and existential understanding. It pushes us to think beyond just our current tools and limits.
absolutely. So, for everyone listening, what does this all mean for you? Maybe the biggest takeaway isn't about proving anything about a creator in a lab. Perhaps it's more about understanding the potential of your own player, your own consciousness within this incredible game of life. Definitely something to mull over as you navigate your own reality.